What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Historic Hot Laps. I'm your host, as always, Alex Daniels. Got a bunch of stuff to cover today, so let's just jump into it. We had F1 Hungarian Grand Prix. McLaren's Lando Norris pulled off a brilliant one-stop strategy to hold off his teammate and championship leader Oscar Piastri. Nail-biting finish, the final few laps. Nail-biting for McLaren, obviously, because they're dominating everything. So let's talk about qualifying. Charles Leclerc clinched pole position, Ferrari's first conventional pole of the season, by just 0.026 seconds ahead of Piastri, with Norris third, George Russell behind them in fourth. Lewis Hamilton had a disastrous session, finishing only 12th and even questioning his future with the team, calling himself useless. Obviously, Ferrari jumped in and tried to build him back up there. So going to race strategy, the race began with Norris dropping to fifth on lap one, but McLaren made a bold call, switch him to a one-stop strategy while Piastri and Leclerc opted for two stops. Norris managed more than half the race on fuel and tires, 39 laps on a single set of hard tires, and it paid off massively. In the final lap, Piastri closed in late. Norris executed flawless defense. When it counted on the last lap, Piastri locked up heavily under braking, almost causing contact as he made his final attempt into turn one. Official results are as stands. Lando Norris in first, Oscar Piastri in second, both 1-2 for McLaren once again. George Russell in that Mercedes in third. Charles Leclerc coming in fourth for Ferrari, and Fernando Alonso in that Aston coming in fifth. So that's awesome to see. Leclerc faded in the final stand. Ferrari later admitted that they thought he might not finish. The balance was pretty bad due to some suspected chassis issues. The result of this race slashed Piastri's lead in the championship to just 9 points, down to 275 for Norris versus 284 for Piastri heading into the summer break. McLaren extended their massive lead in the constructors' standings, reinforcing a dominant season up to this point. Leclerc's mystery pace drop. He led 40 laps from pole but crumbled after his second stop. Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur confirmed the team is launching an investigation into possible mechanical issues and what happened there. Max Verstappen had an aggressive run-in with Lewis Hamilton, prompting the steward's review, though no penalty followed through on that. Bortoleto and Liam Lawson delivered impressive drives from 6th and 8th, respectively, beating even Verstappen in that order. The race underscores McLaren's strategic brilliance and an increasing two-horse fight between Norris and Piastri. Ferrari's movement in qualifying quickly turned into frustration. Red Bull's setback with Verstappen may signal deeper troubles after all the shakeups they've had over there lately. As the series pauses for the summer break, the real question will be who will emerge stronger when F1 returns in late August for the Dutch Grand Prix. Obviously something that's going to be very tight for Verstappen, so expect a good comeback from him. This moves us over to NASCAR at Iowa. Xfinity race in Iowa. Hy-Vee Perks 250 from Iowa Speedway delivered a milestone first win for Sam Mayer and his newly rebranded Haas Factory team. Sam Mayer claimed the victory after critical restart on lap 221, overtaking Jesse Love to the lead, and led the final 28 laps, earning his first win of 2025 and the first for Haas Factory team and Ford in the Xfinity Series this season. Can't believe it's Ford's first win of the season. That's pretty wild. Marks his second straight Iowa win, though the first time for Ford after racing for JRM Chevrolet last year and getting the win. Top 5 results: Sam Mayer, Jesse Love, Ross Chastain driving that number 9 car of JRM's. He led 120 laps and ended up finishing third. Connor Zilisch, strong rookie, showing in fourth. Harrison Burton clawing his way up for a top 5, rounding out the top. Just awesome to see that from them and over there at AM Racing. Samir pulled away from the final restart, finished 3.2 seconds ahead of Jesse Love. Ross Chastain, we talked about dominating early, leading 120 laps. Couldn't hold the lead late. Car kind of fell apart on him there. Pole sitter Jesse Love ended up leading one stage and 31 laps, but a misstep on Mayer's win is notable not only for his personal streak being snapped, it's his 8th career Xfinity victory and first for Ford and the Haas Factory team after the rebrand. This makes a defining moment for both the driver and the team. Finally putting some stuff together over there, so that's good to see. With this win, Mayer shakes the momentum in his favor for heading into the playoff stretch. Meanwhile, Jesse Love and veteran Ross Chastain stayed strong in the regular season points chase. We also didn't mention Austin Dillon subbed for the suspended Austin Hill in that number 21 Chevrolet for the incident at Indy, giving that team an interesting shakeup. Let's jump over to the Cup Series. This was the 23rd event for the 2025 season. 350 lap race there at Iowa. Chase Briscoe claimed the pole with a lap of 136.933 miles per hour and a 23-second lap, almost 23 flat, 23.004. His sixth pole of the season, so he's really doing something right to get that speed, edging out William Byron and Kyle Larson on that one. Stage 1 saw early cautions and Briscoe leading much of the race. Keselowski took Stage 2, which was great points for him and his team, keeping momentum into the final segment. You had 7 quick cautions in Stage 3 over the final 140 laps, which was pretty wild. That gave teams fuel-saving opportunities. You had 72 laps under caution, which was just wild. William Byron, driving that number 24 Hendrick Chevrolet, stretched fuel across 144 laps, well beyond that 100-lap fuel window we're used to seeing thanks to all those frequent cautions and Rudy Fugel's strategy. Despite him running out of fuel, he did get the victory. He ran out during his burnout celebration. He held off charging Briscoe, claiming the win by 1.1 seconds, led 141 total laps. Chase Briscoe coming in second, earning 181 laps led, continuing his strong qualifying and race pace across 4 of the last 7 events. He's really getting JGR comfortable over there, which is great to see. We saw Brad Kay finish third, scoring a race-high 55 points thanks to winning both stages and fastest laps. But strategy left him on the top step there. Ryan Blaney, who was the 2024 Iowa winner, came in fourth with 29 laps led and solid points in defense of his playoff hopes. Ryan Preece came in fifth, narrowing the playoff margin to 23 points behind teammate Chris Buescher in a battle for the final postseason spot. Bubba Wallace rebounded from earlier damage in the race to score sixth. This is his third straight top 10. Alex Bowman seventh, extending his playoff cushion to 63 points above Preece. Kyle Larson, who started third, tangled on some restarts, dropped back to a dismal 28th place, just one of the several rough weeks for the Hendrick number 5 team. Byron's win vaults him back into the Cup Series points lead over teammate Chase Elliott by 18 points. With only 3 regular season races left before the playoffs, Hendrick Motorsports now claims the top 3 position in points, with Byron, Elliott, and Larson dominating the regular season standings. So clearly a good time for Chevrolet in NASCAR and Hendrick Motorsports. From there, let's talk a little IMSA. We had the Motul Sports Grand Prix at Road America. This was the Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. GTP class, Nick Yaloli in the number 93 Acura Meyershank Racing ARX-06 car snagged the pole award with a lap time of 1 minute 48 seconds, averaging 134 miles per hour, making his third consecutive Motul pole. Behind him were both BMW M Team RLL entries, the number 25 and the number 24, separated by mere thousandths of a second there. LMP2 class, PJ Hewitt in the AO Racing number 99 Spike Orca took pole in class on that one. The race at the 4-mile, 14-turn circuit drew record fans for the second straight year. A lot of people are loving what IMSA's got for a product, and it is exciting to watch. Team RLL over there with BMW executed a flawless strategy, timing final green flag pit stops with 1 hour remaining. That moved their cars into the top 2 spots after a late caution allowed them to stay out while others pitted. The number 24 secured the win in GTP, and the number 25 finished 2.5 seconds back behind them, securing a dominant Team 1-2 finish on top of their class. Pole sitting number 93 Acura recovered to round out the podium in third at the race end. LMP2 class, AO Racing number 99 earned their second straight class victory 3 weeks after winning at CTMP. They've got true momentum going on there. So standings and championship implications after this: BMW's first same-day IMSA victory in both GTP and GTD Pro class at Road America, which is a double win for the brand there. AO Racing's class win propelled the LMP2 pairing into strong form as they chase the championship leadership there, though they currently trail the United Autosports leaders after an early incident earlier in the weekend. Current point standings with the after the round show Windward Racing leading GTD Pro points, with Vassar Sullivan Racing and Heart of Racing trailing them closely. So a little bit of shakeup on teams who are in the points lead, but overall, really awesome race. Road America always puts on a good show. This takes us to the World of Outlaws, I-55 Raceway. You had Friday night before the Ironman 55. This was won by Carson Macedo, who led the most laps, almost all of them from start to finish. He looked poised for a weekend sweep until misfortune struck. A flat right rear ruled him out of contention late in this feature, ending his run just as it appeared to be untouchable. For Saturday night, brought notorious Ironman 55, the toughest, longest nonstop feature in the World of Outlaws schedule. Endurance race for those guys almost at 55 laps. So here's how it unfolded. You had Buddy Kofoid grabbing his first ever Ironman 55 victory. Delivered a masterful pass on lap 51, holding off Sheldon Hodenschild to take the checkered, a new iconic dumbbell trophy along with $25,000 cash. Runner-up Tanner Thorson, charging from 17th to finish second on the grid, is awesome. He earns the hard charger honors for that one, claiming his only second career Outlaws podium. Sheldon Hodenschild crossed the line in third after leading early and contending up until late. He was unable to ward off Buddy Kofoid's late move. You also rounded out with Zach Hampton and David Gravel. Not in that order. David Gravel was fourth and Zach Hampton was fifth. With his win at I-55, Kofoid became the 11th different Ironman 55 champion and 5th Californian to do so. This marks his 8th World of Outlaws win of 2025, a new personal season high, and the 18th of his career, tying Brad Doty for 34th all-time in the wins charts. Tito's flat tire was a heartbreak for the driver, having a near-perfect weekend as he demonstrated speed but missed the largest payday on the dirt for Saturday night's race. Hodenschild extended his podium tally to 9 this year, consistent but still a winless drought, creeping deeper and deeper through the season. Gravel's qualifying prowess continued. He had 2 of the Simpson quick times this weekend, pushing his season total to 14, and that really covers up the 2 nights of drama, heartbreak, and breakthrough moments for the I-55 Raceway and World of Outlaws. Buddy Kofoid finally cracking the Ironman, stealing the victory while he could. Carson Macedo had the best night of the season, derailed by a flat tire. He looked dominant for back-to-back wins, and another podium for Sheldon Hodenschild, so congrats to him.
He just had to have a lot of patience. It was definitely a different Peevely than we're used to, I feel like, but we'll take him any way we can get him. Was thankful to start on the pole in that one. I feel like as long as I didn't make too bad of a mistake on the bottom, I was going to be in pretty good shape, and I just had to be ultra patient, really just running off my right front, trying to stay rotated, to grab the bottom off exit and be able to squirt by some of them lappers. It was really nerve-wracking. Some of them lappers, obviously everybody's running the bottom, so it's hard to get by a guy when he's running the bottom in front of you, but I was able to squeak by a few of them. I missed the bottom off of turn 4, coming to the white. Felt like I was going about 2 miles an hour, just really crawling down the front stretch, was nervous. Tried to make sure I hit the bottom nice off of 2, and kind of, was doing everything I could to not hit the lap car in front of me and get to the line before anyone else, snuck around me. So
starting on the outside, I felt like I wanted to start on the outside every restart just because I felt like as the race went on, my car started to actually take off better and better. And, I would stay out longer, and I feel like I'd get such a big toe of momentum and almost got Sheldon on that restart and, didn't think it was all the way clear, so left him a little bit of room, and and then just got back in line and knew that if we could get to traffic, I feel like he may be in trouble, just because I feel like our car's just notoriously just been tremendous in dirty air, and I feel like if we could have just got to traffic and stayed with him, I feel like I could have maybe hounded him and forced him to a mistake, or I started to move around and base myself off what he was doing. I feel like that honestly probably helped too. So the track changed a lot. I went from beginning, the race to, from flipping over almost every restart to, being left finally and being able to slip the tires and round the corner. I feel like how a sprint car should feel finally. And
let's cover some USAC National Sprints, Bloomington Speedway, Sheldon Kinzer Memorial on Friday night. Logan Seavey stormed to victory in the Sheldon Kinzer Memorial, surging from 6th to lead by lap 10 and staying up front for the final 20 laps. This marked his 29th career USAC Sprint win and tied him for 5th all-time on the wins list, surpassing Don Branson, A.J. Foyt, Levi Jones, and J.J. Yearly. Seavey's performance vaulted him from trailing a point lead in the first place over Indiana Sprint Week, now holding a slim 4-point advantage over Kevin Thomas Jr. entering the final round. Seavey's execution on the bottom groove was textbook, especially on that slick red clay quarter mile. He held on despite continuous changes, using smooth corner lines and put laps between himself and the field. This brings us over to the finale at Tri-State. Saturday night Speedway. Delivered a thrilling conclusion. Kevin Thomas Jr. emerged victorious in the feature, clinching both the race win and the overall Indiana Sprint Week title, becoming a 3-time ISW champion after previous titles in 2017 and 2021. Thomas took the lead on lap 11 after Briggs Danner had paced the field early. From there, the man from Coleman, Alabama, controlled the last 21 laps, but not without pressure. Logan Seavey restarted nose to tail with him, a dramatic final green-white checker finish. Seavey ultimately crossed second, 6 ISW points behind KTG in the final standings, but secured the passing master title with 52 passes during the ISW week, so he gets a little bit of redemption and fame out of that. Another thing we'd like to mention, Kayla Roll made history as the first woman to win a USAC Sprint Car heat race, then finished 9th in the feature, which is a record best finish by a woman in the series history, so congrats to Kayla on that. Mitchell Moles again showed qualifying prowess, notching the fast time at Bloomington and continuing his season-long dominance in that category, also tying career milestone with Bettenhausen and J.J. Ely for most poles. Other shout-outs we need to talk about: Chance Crum, his podium in Bloomington, and the fire move of the night for that race. Kyle Cummins grabbed key points all week long. Briggs Danner had early lap leads at Tri-State before dropping back in the feature. Just overall awesome races. Beyond the prizes this week determined momentum. Thomas became the third driver to win 3 or more ISW titles, joining Kevin Thomas Sr. and Levi Joint. CV extends his reputation as a passing ace. Moles is fastly claiming the title as top-tier qualifier. Newcomers like Crum and Roll are injecting fresh stories into the USAC series. So awesome stuff. Let's jump into some news. A couple quick stories on this one. We're going to start with Formula One. During the Hungarian Grand Prix press conference, Verstappen made it crystal clear he will remain with Red Bull Racing for the 2026 season, bringing speculation about a switch to Mercedes to an end. He stated, "It's time to stop the rumors. For me, it's always been quite clear that I was staying." He first signed his current deal back in 2022, which secured his seat with Red Bull through 2028. Though the contract includes performance-linked exit clauses, none were triggered. Verstappen remains firmly committed. Going into the summer break, he's third in the standings, meaning he's safely avoiding a clause that could have allowed him to leave if he were fourth or lower at that point. So why is he staying? Verstappen emphasized his involvement in development talks and future planning within Red Bull, which strengthened his sense of belonging. "When you're not interested in staying, you stop talking about these kinds of things, and I never did that," he said in an interview. The departure of Christian Horner and the promotion of Laurent Mekies were widely seen as positive steps to reassure Verstappen's place in the team. Red Bull emerges with certainty during major engine and technical transition era, and they'll debut their own power units in 2026 without Honda support. For Mercedes, the confirmation reshapes their driver strategy. Toto Wolff pivoting back to reaffirm loyalty to George Russell and newcomer Kimi Antonelli through at least 2026. As we head into the second half of 2025, championship heats up. In the background, the new deal gives Red Bull some sort of stability, and you'd think it would be a little reassurance for the team, right? Verstappen staying put. It's clear that there's no other narrative out there. No more concerns as far as that goes. Now they can focus on the engine change. Could that shuffle the deck, or will that cement Red Bull in their dominant streak again? So we'll know by next season for sure. Another contract piece here at IndyCar. Marcus Ericsson is set to stay with Andretti Global in the number 28 Honda for the 2026 season. So let's break down what that means for him and the team. In a recent interview, Andretti Global COO Rob Edwards confirmed that Marcus Ericsson's seat is locked in for 2026, wrapping up any speculation about his future within the team. Ericsson is under contract through next year after signing a 3-year deal starting in 2024. So with 1 year left in the agreement, his place in the number 28 car is secure. Though the 2025 season has been challenging, Ericsson currently sits 21st in the standings. His toughest campaign to date. Andretti leadership claims the leadership remains supportive. Rob Edwards emphasized nothing's changed. He's under contract for the next year. It'll go away when we can get more results for the 28 car. To help turn things around, Andretti recently shifted responsibilities within Ericsson's program, appointing Dave Seifert as lead race engineer. Leading a strong fifth-place finish at Toronto, the team has acknowledged better performances are needed, but remain committed to Ericsson's development alongside the restructured engineering team. So why is Ericsson staying? Well, Ericsson brings provenance He's a 2022 Indy 500 winner. He had 3 straight top 6 championship finishes with Chip Ganassi Racing before joining Andretti. The pedigree can't be overlooked, and Andretti clearly sees long-term value in keeping him, right? And even though he's got a little bit of rough patch, he's still got value. Fans continue to speculate. Online, there was some suggesting a really rough time for staying in a paid driver after 2026. Should performance not improve, but also contracts mean everything. Ericsson's got a favorable contract with no performance out clauses. The sentiment underscores the confidence the team has placed on him from the start. A lot of comments like that. So what does this mean for IndyCar and Andretti Global? There's going to be a big transformative period next year. They'll be entering Formula One in a partnership with Cadillac while maintaining their IndyCar program firmly intact. Colton Herta, Kyle Kirkwood already in place. Ericsson completes a diverse and experienced lineup. As Andretti pushes into major projects like that Cadillac-backed F1 entry, keeping a seasoned driver like Ericsson in the folds adds some continuity. It also buys them time to nurture some talent, especially like drivers coming up, say Dennis Hogger, rise through Indy NXT ranks while working to improve on-track results in 2025. So we'll see how that all shakes out for him. And with all that, it's time for some history. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the fascinating world of Lindsey Hopkins Jr., gentleman owner whose cars graced the Indy 500 from the 1950s into the early 1980s. He never claimed the checkered flag at Indy, but he does have quite a legacy. Lindsey Hopkins Jr. was born in 1908 in Greensboro, North Carolina. By 1938, he'd founded Security Trust Company in Miami, later merging into Northern Trust Bank of Florida. He served on Coca-Cola's board starting in 1954 and even co-owned NFL franchises like the Saints and the Falcons. Sportsman with a business mind, in 1950 he purchased a dirt track car from Lou Moore. It scored him the AAA National Championship driver title with Henry Banks behind the wheel, establishing a foundation for Indy success that would last 3 decades. So let's talk about his commitment to IndyCar. From 1951 to 1982, Hopkins fielded entries at the Indianapolis 500 every year, a remarkable 29 starts over 31 years, sometimes up to 4 cars in the field in a given year. He had tragedies and heartbreaks were part of the story. In 1955, his driver Bill Vukovich, already a 2-time winner, died while leading the race for Hopkins. That moment might have ended his involvement, but Hopkins pressed on, saying Bill wouldn't have wanted me to quit. He had a lot of close calls with victory and championship glory. Never won Indy, but his near misses were legendary. Jim Rathman finished second in 1957 and again in 1959, driving Hopkins' entries. The equipment was top tier. The team might have been the best with the owner that had never won the 500. Hopkins more than made up for it off brick pavement. His team captured 11 total AAA USAC National Championship race wins, including races at Michigan, Phoenix, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Langhorne, Springfield, Brooklyn, and even a special Daytona Beach event in 1959 with Rathman. Hopkins' driver roster reads like a Hall of Fame roll call. You had Bill Vukovich, Jim Rathman, Tony Bettenhausen Sr., Roger McCluskey, George Amick, Bobby Marshman, Lloyd Ruby, Pat O'Connor, Gary Bettenhausen, Wally Dallenbach, and among many others. Roger McCluskey gave Hopkins a major lift in 1972, winning the California 500 at Ontario, and went on to claim the 1973 USAC National Championship, driving a Hopkins car, arguably the pinnacle of Hopkins' career. Hopkins embraced innovation. In 1971, he backed a Kuzma rear-engine chassis powered by a turbo Ford V6. Then in 1980, he commissioned a Lightning 80, a cutting-edge ground effect car designed by Dave Burns and aerodynamicist Robert Liebeck. The car ultimately failed, never finishing a race over 4 seasons, and Hopkins withdrew from full-time Indy effort after 1981. But when Lightning faltered, he pivoted quickly. He purchased a proven McLaren M16A chassis to keep winning with McCluskey. In 1981, Gary Bettenhausen qualified a Lightning chassis for the Indy 500, but retired early due to mechanical woes. He raced once again in 1982, but it ended in retirement, marking the last Hopkins car at Indy. Hopkins retired from racing soon after. He then passed away February of 1986 at 77 years old. Though the Indy win eluded him, his career spanned innovation, heartbreak, perseverance, and influence. Here's a few stats to go along with all of his accolades, if you will. 29 Indy 500 entries, 2 second-place finishes, 11 race wins in USAC and a 1973 national championship, and being one of the first to run a ground-affected car project with that 1980 Lightning model. He was inducted into the IMSA Hall of Fame in 2004 and the USAC Hall of Fame in 2015. Hopkins wasn't just an owner, he was a steward of tradition, known as the gentleman sportsman. He even included a top hat and a rabbit logo on his car, symbolizing his love for magic and flair. His consistent presence across 3 decades and readiness to fund entries, even without full sponsorship, made him a beloved icon in Gasoline Alley. He understood the motorsport isn't only just trophies, it's about stories, it's about resilience, and it's about passion. So there you have it. Lindsey Hopkins Jr., a man who embodied both old-world elegance and unshakable racing spirit. He never got that Indy 500 checkered flag, but his impact runs far deeper. And that wraps it up for us on this episode. Thank you for tuning into Historic Hot Laps. If you enjoyed our deep dive, please subscribe, share, come back next week for another tale from the archives of speed. Until then, stay safe. Thanks for tuning in.